Hello everyone, welcome to the live session. And here we have Pattabhiram, and he has been doing sadhana since many months now. And he has also visited Mangalore to meet me. And we have had a lot of fun, that is in boat ride in Panambur beach. And also, uh, he is a very senior sadhak, that is, he has reached, I think, Vishuddha Chakra, right?
Yeah,
So,
Vishuddha Chakra. Yeah,
which deity you have reached?
Ma Matangi.
Matangi. Okay, so he has been doing sadhana from Uchishta Ganapati till Mahavidya Matangi now, and he has completed the lower five chakras, that is from Muladhara Chakra till Anahata Chakra, and now he is in the Vishuddha Chakra. So, can you tell us about your experience uh, of Uchishta Ganapati till Mahavidya Matangi? Which deity has been close to your heart, and what experiences have you had so far?
Yeah, loaded question, but Aditya, huge pleasure to be here with you. I'm obviously doing this because of the love and respect I have for what you have done for all of us. I think in a number of ways, when I started in Uchishta Ganapati itself, one of the things that I was not familiar with is partly, we've been brought up more in a normal, worshiping our traditional, Vishnu and other sort of, I would say, our supreme forms, right, of the Lord. But never really got down into, the Devi's worship. I knew that whole sort of aspect of worship existed more on the eastern side, like where we have, Kolkata and others, where lots of Devi temples, etc., exist. Not really part of what I've been exposed to. So it was very new. I didn't know if anything would work. I'll be very honest with you. So to me, it was more an understanding of, okay, growing my own mental, boundaries and saying, okay, what else is available, what else is out there, let's see. And I went in with zero expectation of, it's just Aditya seems to be, a scientific person. That's all I cared about, right?
Mm,
Somebody who can at least understand uh, the modern educational aspect of what we, are familiar with.
mm,
And then, he's able to try and bridge to the extent possible, some concepts that are beyond what we learn, in our school or education. I think that was the attraction, and I thought, why not give it a shot? Um, so I think it's very interesting. I think to have gone from, say, experiencing no connection whatsoever, right, with any of the deities, to being able to experience what these forms are trying to educate us and impart to us. I think that has been fantastic, right? If I were to summarize, what I've learned, so we grow up in, and I think we worship. That's the traditional path. You worship, the different gods based on the family that you're, born into and what they teach you. But there is always, something worthy of worship and everything else in the world that's not worthy of worship, right? That's always something you grow up with. And then naturally, as we continue to grow in our lives, we start to add to all those things, right? Which, that's not like me. I wouldn't do something like that. This is all those guys, right? Not so good. You could say South Indians, they do XYZ. North Indians, yeah, not like us, they do something else different. So you start to build that pile of everything else. And uh, and without realizing, that starts to come in your way of progress, of advancement, because now you're beginning to close yourself off to all of that stuff. And you're like, okay, I'm praying to my god, but why are things not moving further in life? So I think the deities have a very different personality. They open up very different dimensions, right? Like Ma Bhairavi, who's like right in the Muladhara, she is much more of somebody who is kind of in the sustenance, like how do you, eat and all of that. So exposure to that dimension. And then you have different dimensions like that all the way up to anahata. Even in anahata, I think the breakdown of the different dimensions of, how you can experience love as an emotion in 4 or 5 different ways, I think is phenomenal, right? But coming back to the one thing that you can pick up from all of this, or at least for me, that was what was different is, I would read growing up, you should see God in everything. Everything is the same, worship everything. Like, yeah, but no, not really. I see all this hatred and all this kind of stuff. What is this? That doesn't make any sense to me. Um, but you do begin to start to appreciate and see, the purpose. And it's not belief. It is knowing it, right? When you believe, you have a doubt that is in the corner of your brain that's saying, you just believing blindly, or is there something else going on? But when there's no second question after that. Like, oh, I get this. This is it, right? So I think it's that aspect of, I think the Devis and all the deities have taught me how to appreciate that love everywhere else, right? And find that, they say, the to see God within every other place. I
Mm.
think I think that was only made possible through this journey. Otherwise, I'd have still been, I'm going here to this temple, favorite deity, and I'm going to do that, and everything else is, you know what I mean. So I think that's the most exciting part.
Mm.
Favorite deity. I thought going in it would become Kali for whatever reason, but she's been very nice. It's just I think they choose you as much as you choose them. So that is something that I've learned too. So I think for me it is Ma Baglamuki, whom I thought I'll have zero connection with, but
Mm.
she's absolutely spectacular. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so Mahavidya Baglam. Okay, so what experiences have you had with her? Like, why is she special for you? Uh, Abhiram, hello. Yeah, there was some internet lag.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me okay?
It's still lagging. Is it good from your side?
It is. I can hear you live.
Okay. So what made Mahavidya Baglamuki special? Like, why? Like, what experiences have you had with her?
Um, I think at a point, no matter what was going on, like on daily external situations, like say, for example, I had anxiety about something. I thought it was really easy to just ask her and for a second just think about her and say, hey, what do I do here? And, she would find a way to kind of very quickly, instantaneously sort of say, okay, what to do. So it's just how accessible she was to me personally. So I think that was remarkable. Um, and no matter what I have going on that day, as I go through my sadhana with all other deities, right, my mind may not be in the same sort of state every day. But when I go to Baglamati Kima and come to her chanting her verses, immediately she'll bring me back, and then after that I can go further. So I think that's been there. And then, it's going to be hard for people to relate to this because you have to go through certain experiences in life. But sometimes, especially people who have lost someone close, oftentimes you feel that person's really around you and can kind of is accessible easily. So Ma Baglamuki is like that, just around you, can easily talk to you. Um, Yeah, so I thought she's been around and she continues to be around. I feel like I'm not doing enough on my part to keep the equation. She's doing more than I'm doing. So again,
Mm. Yeah.
she's been amazing.
So that now that you have told Mahavidya Baglamuki, uh, I I also feel lot of love from her. Like when compared to other Mahavidyas. Like other Mahavidyas have their own different energies, but Mahavidya Baglamukhi uh, is more to do with the yellow energy. Have you felt the yellow energy?
Yeah, yeah. Her sari is this beautiful. You know how there is a shine in the yellow silk which you get in southern part of India. Yeah, it's
Mm,
much more like that. It's just this. It's not
mm,
yellow that is dim. It's yellow that is rich and shiny.
mm,
Yeah, it's the clothes she wears. Obviously, she's gorgeous. That's the
mm,
way to put it. Um,
mm,
I yeah, I think she's much more. So I might have taken a little bit of time in the beginning because I formed an idea of what Ma Baglamukhi can help me with or can give me exposure to based on what I read,
mm,
Aditya. So it was more around, there's literature that says Ma Baglamukhi is somebody who will vanquish your enemies or something like that. I'm like, okay. Don't have, so far somebody like that, but, it's just, I was wondering what is, I don't have any use for some of that stuff. I don't know what that would do. But I would say I think that is that sadhak's experience when they write about Ma Baglamuki, just like how I'm saying what my experience is. When you connect with deities, your experience is going to be very different. Uh, The same deity who is known to do something specific and who's, if you've read something about them somewhere, may just teach you something else, may just give you exposure to something else. So I think you have to be open to that and say, okay, yeah, um, this is my personal experience.
mm.
So I think that's something that I'll share.
Yeah, that her energy, like I felt more like Narsimha. Like it's like a yellow color energy, which is it's like a yellow shield, like a ball of energy, which is protecting you always. And I guess doing her mantra will create lot of protection for the Anahata Chakra, especially. Like if you observe in Mahabharat, like how Karna, that is Surya Putra Karna, he gets a shield from his father. Like his father blesses him from his birth. There is he is born to Kunti Devi, and he gives uh, a shield for the baby, and he will have his shield until the Mahabharat war. And before the war, some there will be some condition where he has to dan, that is donate, and that time he donates his shield, and that is how he is killed. So I feel like Baglamuki also has this sun energy. Sun meaning like a Pingala Nadi, masculine, fiery type of energy, which is similar to Narasimha also. Like Narasimha also has this fiery type of yellow color energy, and I feel like Baglamuki is the closest when it comes to Vaishnava tradition. That is, if you see Vaishnava Sampradaya, where it's more to do with yellow color energy. Like it's always like golden, golden, golden. Venkataramana is filled with golden ornaments, and Narsimha also, and Krishna also, full of yellow color. Pitambaram, basically, like Hanuman, everyone are
Mhm.
yellow color in Vaishnava tradition, and like the only Mahavidya that you feel relatable to this Vaishnava tradition is Mahavidya Baglamukhi, because she's also full of yellow color, and that's why maybe like whoever is Vaishnava, they feel that relatable feeling with Mahavidya Baglamukhi. And yeah, like you said, she might not directly attack the enemies, but she will create a field around you which will not allow enemies to attack. Rather, yeah.
Yeah, and then to me that is spot on, right? Maybe that is deep down why she responded so much. But uh, in my mind, more than the enemies, I thought the enemies were within me, right?
Mm,
In terms of, again, what my mind was only constantly bothering me with. She'd come and just knock
mm,
it all out,
mm,
right, with 1 second. So I think that is sort of what I think I felt was most different about her. But yeah, again, I mean, just so blessed that she's so benevolent.
mm,
um yeah, and that she chose, there's also her choosing someone like me. So I think that is also phenomenal. I do see a question here. There's people who wanted to understand Matara. So Matara was initially very difficult to understand. We did sadhana. I think the picture you have, Aditya, in the groups is very close, right? But it is again, it's that person's imagination. Whoever has first come up with this picture. But you will find that she's kind of like that, except you'll have your own version of Matara, right, in your mind. But you will see the relevance and the symbolism, and you will see that it's not too far away from that picture,
mm,
basically. But it is a very different equation. To me, Matara kind of taught me um, how, like, look at our hands, for example, right? At this point, my hands are right here in front of me. They're not doing anything that I don't want it to do, right? They're not like going grabbing some things. While you and I are having this conversation, my hand is not moving in some direction, doing some activity. What Tara taught me is your speech is like that. Several times, are we paying attention to what we are saying? And then you start to think about, okay, here's a situation in real life. I'm going to a store or I'm going to something. This is why and where I will use my speech in this particular manner to do this particular activity, right? We grow up learning a lot of casual pleasantries, right? You're talking about, hey, how's the weather and whatever. And, there's a lot of talk. I think there's a place for that. But you start to look at intentionality when you use your speech, right?
mm,
And then you start to say, okay, here's a situation. I'm going into this situation, which is I'm meeting, a relative, or I'm meeting, a friend. What would that friend need to hear from me at this point? You put some thought into it, and that's when your speech, literally like your hand to do some task, comes out and sort of helps you. Maybe this is common for everybody else, but for me, I've never ever, I would go into the situation and meet my friend. I'll say hello, we'll hang out and do something, right? I still do that, but Matara reminds me to say, okay, are you using your speech in that point to kind of make sure the situation is, better than what it was before you entered it, right? So I think
mm,
in a number of ways, that was pretty unique in, what she taught. Um, it took me a lot of time because I think I might have seen your video, Aditya, which is she's kind of got that school teacher energy, right? Which is by the book, right? Till you master the pronunciation, till you do all of that, she's not gonna really respond as much. So it took me about 2 weeks before I could even sense. But yeah, once she was there, I think it was just a lot of knowledge learnings. She's very
mm,
good, she's amazing. Yeah, and I hope I hope that answers the question there around Matara.
mm. Yeah, truly. She's more like a teacher, like that's what I felt. And um, yeah, you were talking about awareness, right? Like awareness of speech. When you do her sadhana, you become more aware what the other person wants to hear. And yeah, like most of the time. we are not um, empathetic, like when it comes to understanding others problems. So but Mahavidya Tara Matangi helps us more to do with like giving the right advice when the situation is required. Like we speak automatically and the person will get helped uh, unknowingly. That is, even if we are not aware that we are helping them, it we give the right advice because of Mahavidya Tara and Matangi. I feel like that's what they uh, do.
I completely agree. I think yeah, I think it is Mahavidya Matangi is slightly different, but yeah, I agree with you on the Mahata. Calibrates what you have to say to make sure the situation is actually getting the benefit of the words you have. Yeah.
Yeah, and um, I feel like out of all the Mahavidyas, the most protective is Mahavidya Baglamukhi. She will never let the child get hurted. For example, if you feel hurted someday by someone or by some situation, by some scenario, you can just keep your hand like this and you can chant those Anahata initiated mantras. Like you can chant Krishna. Krishna also, it's like a yellow color energy. Mahavidya Baglamukhi mantra also, yellow protection. And there is Dhumavati. Dhumavati is more to do with trauma related problems. Like if you have been traumatized, she will ease it for you. That is, she's like a grandmother who will who will take you back towards your trauma, whatever you faced, and she'll reiterate the situation and she'll make you look at the situation more vividly and finally she'll remove that trauma from you. She's the Mahavidya Dhumavati is the one with lot of wisdom when compared to all the Mahavidyas because she's the oldest Mahavidya who has surpassed the Shiva also, and that's why she has lot of wisdom. Then there is Mahavidya Bhuvaneshwari. That is more like pure love. That is, if you feel some lack of love, just chanting Mahavidya Bhuvaneshwari mantra can do the trick. And Kali is more like she's more to do with Kundalini rather than the love aspect. That is, she balances the Kundalini in the Anahata Chakra. Yeah, Kali is more to Kali is more to do with the Kundalini. Like she balances the Kundalini in the Anahata Chakra. So I feel like if anyone is suffering from I mean if the if they have taken the Kundalini sadhana path, then they can chant the Bija mantras for the Anahata Chakra. If they are doing the Nama mantra initiation, they can just chant Om Baglamukhi Devibhyo Nama, Om Dhumavati Devibhyo Nama, Om Bhuvaneshwari Devibhyo Nama, Om Kalikaye Namaha, and Om Krishnaya Namaha. So just chanting those Nama mantras or Bija mantras will protect your Anahata Chakra because I feel like Anahata chakra is the most prone to attacks. Like when compared to other chakras have their own selfish nature. Like because uh, it's like all chakras are selfish in nature. That is Mooladhara. For example, while eating food, we only think about ourselves. Swadhisthana also, we think about ourselves. Manipura also, the willpower, the motivation to do some task. We think about ourselves itself. Vishuddha also, Agna Chakra, uh,
Mm.
except for Sahasrara. So, Anahata and Sahasrara are the most selfless in nature, and that's why it is more prone to attacks. Sahasrara cannot be attacked. It is just uh, it, it is so strong that nobody is allowed to touch your Sahasrara. It's like against the will of universe. It's like against the law
Mhm.
of universe to for anyone to touch your Sahasrara. Sahasrara can only be touched by the Atman itself. That is, you yourself can open or close your sahasrara, and nobody can do that. Whereas when it comes to anahata, since people give out love so willingly, that is, sometimes they get attached to people. That is when they love a dog, cat, or mother, father, brother, sister, or friend, like best friend, or a girlfriend, wife, anything. It's like anyone. And if the other person disappoints, the anahata gets leaked. That is, it starts leaking energy. It starts getting hurted, and like a hole. There's a big hole gets formed in the anahata. Then from there, a lot of energy flows outwards, and you'll not have energy to work. You will not have energy for anything. You'll drain yourself because of getting attached to someone, because of loving someone more than yourself. And that's why you need the anahata mantras to protect yourself. Those anahata mantras act like a band-aid. That is, it creates a shield, and it will not allow the leakage of energy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very good to know. Yeah.
um then what other experiences have you had so far?
I think the most profound is in the Anahata, where it, each of the four uh, deities there expose you to some very, very sort of different types of way you can. So, love is a connection between us and how we interact with the rest of the environment, people around us, right? There are dimensions of how you can interact more than what your normal is. So, one is very transactional, there's no love in it, very, very transactional. But then beyond that, to your point, there is, Ma Kali, who teaches you a very fierce form of, loyalty and love and all of that. And then Ma Bhuvaneshwari is incredible, right? It is the how you that is very, very different from that of how, for no reason at all, you would still like a person, right? And when I say like, care for that person, right? I think for people who have children, it's more easier to understand what I'm talking about. But they children can come, stamp your feet, give you whatever, but it only increases for you, right? In terms of your relationship with them. Um, so similarly, but most people, I think, can only experience it with their children. But imagine if you could open that dimension of connectivity with the universe, right? With different people. Yeah, to your point, Madhumavati is like the best grief counselor you can have, right?
Mm.
And then, obviously, Ma Baglamke, we spoke. I think it is understanding that that emotion is got so much variation, and that you can actually now start experiencing life with, much more variance. I think that is very, very, that's amazing. It's truly a new way of, seeing things. And then back to the same thing again, Aditya. So what is the point of it? Sure, I got four new experiences, five new ways of experiencing. I think it's slowly closing and getting you back to, you're able to see the divine in everything around you, right? And that helps in a lot of ways, for your mind not to become very agitated, and be able to take you closer and closer to, the reason why all of us, I guess, are here. Yeah.
Mm. um So, the primary reason for doing this sadhana is to interrogate like ourselves. These Mahavidyas, the deities, the causal beings help us in understanding why we have come to this world. Like, what is the purpose of our existence? Why we see this universe daily, morning, and why we go back to the truth unconsciously. So, what is the point of seeing this existence? Why are we living? What is the desire that is keeping me still alive? So, these are the questions which Mahavidyas and all deities try to answer, but they don't give the answer directly, because directly, if they give, then we will not stay sane. That is, we'll go completely insane. So that's why these Mahavidyas help in giving the truth slowly. That is, they answer all your questions first. That is, you have to ask, uh, wh- why have I come here? Why am I doing your sadhana? Who are you? Who am I? And all that uh, questions relating to yourself and them also. That is, you have to ask their own features, like what is a causal being, like why are they powerful enough to destroy the whole world, like why do all these things exist? So many questions you have to ask them, and only then you start getting answers. And finally there will be a point where all those questions will be answered and you'll not have any questions left. And that is when
Mm.
the last question arises, that is, what is the desire that is still keeping me here in this world? And once the deities answer that question, then you will your consciousness will no longer stay in this realm. That is, Abhiram might stay, but the consciousness which is seeing through Abhiram's eyes will not stay. That is, that will
Mm.
evolve and transcend. So, have you got that answer, Abhiram? Like, you asked the deities what is the purpose of your existence?
I got that. So my purpose is obviously every one of us who's come here. If any of you look up your astrological chart, now I'm not that deep into it, so I don't know if somebody shows me the chart how to read it. But it does clearly say, that if you've chosen to come in and enter at that particular time, that solar configuration, lunar configuration, then it is tied to a sort of a purpose, and then that purpose you share with other people who have come in at that same time into the world, right? Because the situations that you come across on your day-to-day life will be dictated by that. For example, if the particular reason why I wanted to exist right now, or through this life, was to I haven't experienced traveling abroad. I'm just making this up, right? In my past lives or whatever that is, the situations are created where I can do that, and then get a sense of it. um, and then and effectively till that point, traveling abroad might be an experience where you would have thought that's different, and what I have here is what I know, and this is more divine, that is not divine. I'm making it up. You could have had some thoughts like that, but once you go there, again, to your point, the devis, they come and teach you the same exact thing, right?
Mm,
Divine everywhere. So I think, to your point, as we come in and we create, and we're part of the environment, it is because we want to go ahead and check some boxes, right? To say,
mm,
I'm here because I want to taste this kind of food. I want to be born in India because I absolutely love paneer butter masala, right? So then you'll go there, you'll check that box. And then the Devis will make that happen, create the situation so you can get the world's best paneer butter masala,
mm,
right? And it's done.
mm,
So I think it's important to come to the realization that, okay, you had that desire. We have desires right now. Sometimes it's done, sometimes it's not done. But I think they also make you aware that it's all going to be divine, no matter what you pick. You
mm,
already have it with you, right?
mm,
I think that is the realization we all have to come, because Devi is infinite. She can create infinite variations. You want to be Jeff Bezos, you want to be whatever, right? She can find a way to create that situation for you, because
mm,
it is a creation. It's her creation, as they explain it. um but I mean, are you coming to the maturity to say, yeah, that's just going to be another combination? And sure, I'll also go ahead, reach that, and say that is divine too, just like what I already have. So I think, that realization is sort of what comes to you. And hopefully one day, Aditya, it'll get me to the place where you want all of us to get. So
mm. Yeah. So once all the desires are fulfilled, the Devi will answer the a final question, that is of how to achieve that state of samadhi. So like all the spiritual people all over the world like are aiming for the samadhi state where the reality collapses, the desires collapse, and everything collapses. Even the character that you're playing, the mind that you created, everything collapses. And the only thing that is left is the pure consciousness, which is not doing anything. So, that is the goal of all spiritual sadhaks. And to reach there, first of all, we have to fulfill all the desires. So, that's why Devis like Mahavidya, Kamala, Matangi, Tara, Kali, Baglamukhi, they allow us to fulfill all those desires. Only then Mahavidya Tripura Sundari will let us cross the boundaries of this reality. And
I completely agree. Yeah. And I guess there is also a question in the chat related to this topic, Aditya, which is, how did we get a desire in the first place? And I think a very good question, right?
mm,
The consciousness is not something that is outside. It's you. Whoever is asking that question, it's you, right? That is consciousness.
mm,
You create that desire. So everybody
mm,
dies. What makes you open your eye again? It's because you have the desire to kind of, now I have the desire here to be with Aditya here and sort of do this session, right? That is the reason why I'm opening my eye back up again, right? I still have the desire to look outside, be a part of this environment,
mm,
right? The day I'm done, I'm very happy and I don't need that anymore. I will not find a need to continue to open my eyes and keep it up. So, in the same way, not just limited to your eyes, it's all the things, right?
mm,
We want a private jet because our body and whatever, that exhilaration and that luxury is something we want to experience, so we are creating that desire. It's you that is creating that desire. The very first desire was also created by you.
mm. Correct, exactly. And the desire for asking that question is also the reason he's opening the eyes. uh,
There you go.
yeah. So the question, your question, that is, how does the consciousness Mohit Rajpal? Yeah, Mohit Rajpal's question, that is, how does consciousness get a desire in the first place? Wouldn't exist if he didn't have a desire to open the eyes. Uh, so I guess that what we can say is the source of the creation, source of all creation, that is the starting point, and the ending point is the same. That is the null, the null state of the consciousness, the void or the black hole, whatever you call it. And that is the thoughtless state, and that is the A and the Z of the alphabets. Whereas all the things that come in the middle are desires, questions, answers, which doesn't make sense with respect to the null and void, because the zero remains zero itself. All the numbers that come in between are just basically accumulation of desires and what we can say as pretentious questions, because the question wouldn't exist without the desire to ask. So we can call that, we can say that the questions are invalid because um, the desire is creating the question, right? So that's why the question exists in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like Aditya, what you're saying, right, is um when we say consciousness, right, we are all one consciousness, but we are a multi-sensory being. Think of one. So right now, our own experiences, we are our own being. That means
Mm,
my eyes function based on what I wanted to do, right? But imagine if you were a multi-sensory being. That means you had multiple eyes, right? And then they and multiple brains to process the same thing. That's sort of what is happening here. There's one consciousness, which is you. That way, our identities are not different. But because this consciousness is tied to, Mohit's got eyes, you've got eyes, I've got eyes, our brains, we have this process going on. It is still that consciousness that had the first desire.
mm,
You as in your experience is limited to this birth and what you're seeing here, right? But
mm,
before you itself, it's the same consciousness that's in you, me, everybody has had a desire, right?
mm.
So the cycle started there, to Aditya's point, from A. B started there. You might have come in alphabet H, experiencing your right. I would have come in, and this is, by the way, not knowing. This is just speculation, right? I can clearly tell what I know, what I don't. So um, this is just me ideating, and then all of us come to Z, right? We go
Mm,
through our own experience,
mm,
will all converge towards Z.
mm.
But I don't think we created that, or it's not in my experience that that first desire was created. It was already created by my consciousness, which is inside me, but not by this physical form that came in only in, you know, in
Mm.
1980s, right? So
Yeah, yeah, very well said. Like the same consciousness has different desires. For example, if it has a desire to become the prime minister, then it goes inside the Modi's body. If it has a desire for uh, becoming Jagat Guru, then it may go inside Adi Shankaracharya body. Or if it wants to be like a famous online guru like Sadguru, let's say, then it'll go inside Sadguru's body. So the same consciousness which has different desires will go inside different bodies as per its like its want. And it has the potential to cross timelines also. That is, it can be born in 1980 or 2030, or it can be born in the 1800s or 8th century, whatever it may be. So the consciousness has no restrictions. Basically, it is the Maya is like a play, like a very well written play, and inside that Maya, it can go inside any characters and any timeline. Once we realize that whatever desires we have can be fulfilled through others body, then that from that we can conclude that we need not be here anymore, that is be a part of Maya anymore. Because we have already lived the life of Modi, Donald Trump, or whoever it is, like maybe the most richest man in the world. We can, our consciousness can live that life easily, without even uh, doubting. And since once we realize that we can do it just by going inside the body of other people, then we'll realize we need not be here anymore, because this we are already everything. That is, we are everything, and we need not be everything. We can go back to our original state of being nothing. Yeah.
I think there is an important thing you mentioned, it right, because to experience infinite permutations and combinations, you need infinite bodies, right?
Hmm.
And still you won't get there. You will still have some idea of, oh, this particularly, what should I say, yacht, and then in a different yacht, I have a, bigger yacht, and it's got a helipad on top of it. I want that also. It just, the permutations and combinations will never stop. But
Hmm.
if you're paying attention on a day-to-day basis and saying, I wanted it and I got it, the little things, right, that you want, um, good, check in the box. Understand the realization I need to have with that, right? To say it's all again divine. It's great taste, So I think there is a little bit of that is pretty important. And then you have to pick the essence out of it. How do you do that? So, for example, you are in love with this person, right? And you experience love. Stop associating that love with that particular name and that person. Say this is the universe's way of taking care of you at this point.
Hmm.
Tomorrow you will find situations where, whether that person's physically there or not, that same love and caring will come to you from a different place, right? And then notice that don't attach it to that person or this person, whatever. Notice that the universe, in this case, is giving you that same affection through a different mechanism. So start to pick on the essence. Same thing with the food, right? I'm getting this amazing taste from this. So how do I decouple that from the object I see over there, right? So if we are able to start to do that, I think Aditya, what you said makes sense, right? Then you stop chasing infinite permutations and combinations and you start to say, check.
Mm,
Food, I've eaten amazing. I might get 300 other variations of paneer butter masala, green color, yellow color, whatever that is, with different ingredients. I think I know what this is. This is great. This is tastes amazing, and I'm good with it. I think
mm,
us doing that consciously starts to get us towards moving away. Otherwise, we could continue to be here, right?
mm. That is right. Like there's no one saying no, be here or don't be here. Like there's no right or wrong basically. Like you can be here as long as you want. You cannot be a part of Maya also as long as you want. There's no one to tell you because you are the creator. Like you created this Maya, you entered your own screenplay, and you will leave the screenplay at your own pace. You will take the help of beings who are more powerful than you, and you will not be a part of Maya anymore. Those beings are like the guardians of the Maya, I would say, because
Mhm.
every Maya requires a dharmic, that is cosmic order, because otherwise Maya is very horrible to stay in. Like if there are like consciousnesses which has desire only to like harm others, then for the consciousness to fulfill desires will be a very tough place to begin with. That is, for example, if a consciousness wants to have a family in the universe, but it goes to a place where there are only like shooters, like who shoot people, then that consciousness's desire cannot be fulfilled in such a horrible place because the family will be killed. So that's why Vishnu has created it in such a way that he has divided the Maya into 14 lokas, where the adharmic consciousness, that is, the consciousness which has a desire to do evil, will go to the lower lokas because uh, similar type of people, beings exist there who also enjoy killing, who also enjoy the harm, and but he has created Bhurloka in such a way that there is both good and bad. That is, there are people who are not very good, and there are people who are very divine also. So Bhurloka is like uh, a mixture of dharma and adharma, and there are higher lokas like the divine realms where there is complete selflessness. There is no capitalism, or like there's no selfish uh, like there's no business basically. It's like an energy. It's like a infinite amount of energy uh, with which anyone can attain and stay sustainable without the need of stealing or whatever. And such realms are there, uh, which has been separated from Burloka, because Burloka beings are not suitable for such realms, because we will take advantage of those realms. That's why the Burloka is separated from that. And that's why now what we learn from the deities is how to be selfless and become like them, how to help people. Only when we become selfless, we'll get to experience such higher realms. And that is why all the lords like Venkataramana, Shiva, and Subramanya, Ganapati, they are not here. Like they are idols here. Like they are idols whom we worship, whom we admire, so that we can become like them and go to their realms. So the consciousness can experience all the things here in this Maya, from the most selfish realms, that is the lower Patal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, and to the most selfless realms like Bhuva, Swaha, Mahajana, Tapa, Satya. So it finally, once it experiences both the side of its own mind, that is, consciousness has created this mind in both selfish way and the selfless way. So once it gets to explore all the features of the mind, then it'll be like, okay, I have experienced everything. There's no need to experience anything anymore. So that is when the consciousness goes back to the original state, I feel. Yeah.
That, I think you bring up a very, very important point, right? Because the advantage of being here on this place at this time with all of us here is you could go some places which are designed simulations where people have visualized, you have other cultures saying that is heaven or whatever they've called it. We have lokas that we call it. Or you could go to places which, have a design simulation to give you a specific experience. But here is uniqueness about this place is you can experience both
Mm,
staying right here. And I think, if you go up and you're all the time, I think this is you brought up Karna, right? So if you think about Kunti, what is, keep me here because I can remember you, otherwise I won't even find a need to remember, God. Because guess what, I'm staying here, I have this palace, and and I'm all set, right? You'll continue to do that, but yeah, I think to remember God is going to be harder in those places. Same thing, you're down, you're fighting for survival, there is hell here right now, right?
mm,
think Take any war-torn country where every day your first thought is, how do I escape some sort of person who's out there to get my life? Can you sit
mm,
down and say, I'm going to sit and think about Vishnu at that time? No,
mm,
not really. Or not Vishnu. Let's say, can we say, when I'm running with a gun, with someone trying to get my life, Aditya, you and I can have this conversation, right? No,
mm,
not at all possible. Right there, our focus would be, I need to find the best hiding place there is. Just get over this
mm,
thing. Stay safe for today, and then tomorrow will be another day. Right. So I
mm,
think you get to experience that range over here, and I think it's the one place where you can say, okay, up or down, I don't care anymore. Right. It's important for me to say, let me experience whatever I can in this spectrum, and then call it a day. Right.
mm. True. But in the Treta Yuga or something, or Treta Yuga, or before that Satya Yuga, Prahlad proved something, like I think, where that is, even in a scenario where there were all asuras itself. That is, his dad was an asura, like Rakshasa. I mean, like the whole, he belonged to the Rakshasa Gana. That is, or his all family members were Rakshasas. Everyone were Rakshasas, friends, family, relatives. But he managed to like convert them. That is, he managed to bring the divine here. So what I feel is like, if there is will to bring the divine everywhere, that is, if there is a will to uh, wi- if there is a will to teach people about the divine, then it can happen anyhow. That is, Narsimha came like because of the dradata of Prahlad, that is the deep love. He didn't, even though Narasimha was supposed to not enter Burloka uh, like that, like without being born as a human or lion, he directly came. That is, without in the womb of the mother,
He
without,
broke
yeah,
laws of that particular loka. He just came in, and it was just a creature
yeah,
that just had no laws around it. You're right. That's
yeah,
it's funny you bring that up, Aditya, because I was watching in Netflix this Narsimha, kind of
mm,
series. That's when it hit me. I was like, it's so, for us, we've created conditions here where there are temples. There are, places where you don't need to go to a temple, right? It's all available here. There are options, but in that series they show, to your point, Prahalada lived in an environment where there was nothing like that around him.
mm,
Everything was, you've got to show strength, you've got to go kill, all that was the natural norm, right?
mm,
And in that, he was the only guy at that point, little, to say, you know what, that's not right,
mm,
right? And I think that is the reason why we obviously are speaking about his story, millions of years after, right? So I think not a plug for that that Netflix series, but what you said, that's what it made me think. I do see a few other questions. So there is a question around, is becoming selfless dangerous in our world? I think it's a very important, kind of thinking, right? You are who you are. Whether you become selfless, non-selfless, your basic composition remains the same. Which means, see, everything, even in our sadhana, when you do Krishna's mantra and all, it says when there's something that's kind of odd and wrong, you have enough strength to go set it right. Right. And then what that means is not set it right in a very nice way where you sign a, you come and shake hands all the time. Sometimes you need to, go ahead and take a difficult action in that situation. You will absolutely do it. Same thing with responsibility. If you become selfless or realize or whatever, you're not going to say, oh, guess what? I'm going to leave all this stuff. Right. If I am responsible for something, you won't do that. You're still part of this. Think about it. Even Krishna, who was an avatar, probably the most, he had to die through an arrow piercing his leg. So we are all bound by things like responsibility, all of that, right? In some cases, you have stories of Mirabai and others who, didn't care, because I don't think Mirabai's family really was in poverty waiting for food to be fed by Mira. That was not the situation there. If that was, she would have probably stayed back, made sure her responsibility, because she's a good person, good human being, right?
mm,
Um, so if we go and then, sort of realize what our potential is, what we do, and all of that, we're not gonna give up on work, family, because there's things to do. Now, if your work has no purpose, then that's a different situation, and probably out of the scope of this conversation. But
mm,
but you will find a way to finish your responsibility, no question about that. And make sure you're not causing harm, right, in any way, because you've started to follow this path, right? Even Siddhartha, if you think about it, Gautam
mm,
Buddha, he was a prince, right? He left because he knew the rest of the family would be perfect. They'll be living in palaces when he's out of the door, right?
mm,
So take that into account. You're not going to suddenly leave behind people crying, because you're going to fix situations when you go, because part of all
mm,
of this is it makes you extremely responsible, even more responsible than you are right now, right?
mm. Um, but here what we are missing out is that that is what that is not what selflessness really means. Like uh, what in spirituality, selfless means not being the character anymore. That is, like if you care about the character so much, then you are giving rise to the false ego. That is the ego of Aditya. That even for, let's say we are following some responsibilities like taking care of parents or children, wife, or friends, family. So all those responsibilities belong to the Maya. That is belong to the character of the Maya. And now, when we love someone, let's say we are loving Vishnu or Tripura Sundari. So, when we love the deity or our Ishta, we are sacrificing the character itself on the feet of the deity. Like, we are, let's say in my case, I'm sacrificing the character Aditya on the feet of Vishnu because he is the one who created this Maya. Tripura Sundari, who is the Jaganmata, that is the mother of all Mayas, and Vishnu is the Maya of this universe. So there are like many Mayas, many universes, which is all inside Mahamaya. And now when we talk about selflessness, it is not the selflessness of the character here. It's not about like uh, giving food to others or helping others through money or something. Here in spirituality, selflessness means sacrificing the character itself on the feet of the deity, and the deity will take care of the Maya. Deity will take care of Prahlad's life. Deity will take care of Aditya's life. Deity will take care of all the people who have uh, kept the character on the feet of the deity. So the consciousness is actually never a part of the Maya. It was never a part, and it will never be a part of Maya. It is always separate from Maya. So the real selflessness is when the consciousness sacrifices the character and just exits the Maya. So doesn't mean the character will stop fulfilling responsibilities. That is, the character will keep on continuing the responsibilities, but the consciousness won't be there anymore. The consciousness will achieve samadhi. That is what Jivana Mukta Samadhi means. Um, Even Hanuman, Adi Shankaracharya have told that Jivana Mukta means the character continues, but the consciousness has achieved samadhi. So whoever the character is playing on its own, that is, it is fulfilling its responsibility.
Yeah. No, I think very, very well said, Aditya, because I think being selfless doesn't mean you become a
Mm,
higher than you are in your own skin right now. Because what's coming in your way? Your mind is coming in your way, trying to tell you 100 different opinions when you're trying to make the right decision, right?
mm,
Imagine when you don't have all of that, you have full clarity, you have full strength, you have anything to any all the power to deal with any situation.
mm,
It is a very different sort of power, right? And you don't have to worry about the goody like Aditya that wants to be a goody good in the world. It is you will naturally do things that are, we use the word dharma, which means which is right for society,
mm,
right? But you're not going to be the movie character which does all the nice things and then gets killed in the end. It's going to be the other way around. So just I think that's the thing that I think people need to understand. Good doesn't mean I think you move away from thinking about doing good things to doing the right things,
mm,
right, for society, right? And the right is not selfishly for you; it is for the society and for the construct that you are in. So I think that is something you have to realize. You will never become a nice goody two shoes ever if you go down this path. It's
mm,
and where someone has to protect you and all of that. Nah, I don't think so. It's going to be the other way around.
mm,
Um, Then there's an interesting question between the body and consciousness. Is the consciousness quite literally very, very free? Hmm. Yeah, the body kind of, sort of gives the consciousness an experience. So you created the desire to say, I want to be born. So I want to do XYZ. To achieve XYZ, you have to be born in Ambani's family. Let's put it that way. Then, your consciousness has the desire to do that, to see that, to experience something like that. Your body gives it a way and a mechanism to experience that. Aditya's body had the desire to kind of teach all of this stuff to us. So his body is giving the experience to his consciousness, which had the desire. I shouldn't say his consciousness, to the consciousness,
mm.
right? So
Yeah.
the same consciousness through me has the desire to kind of be along, sit next to Aditya and have this conversation with you all. That same consciousness through Aditya's body wants to impart all the knowledge. If you think about it, that's really the simple answer.
Mm. Yeah, best way to put that in words. And before we end the live, what would you like to say to the audience?
I would say it is don't compare. That's number one. Someone may have some experience. I think as long as that experience that someone else is sharing is helping you understand and get up, take it. But don't ever say, feel to yourselves that, oh man, why am I not able to do that?
Mm,
Right? Someone's experience, for example, is being able to manifest a new, kind of dimensional activity, right? and that person's speaking so much about it. Don't compare yourself, right? What your experience is what you need. It's your innate desire. That's what you will get, right?
mm,
So I think persistence is key. If it doesn't come to you, try to make an effort. I think it's easier said than done. I've had many days where I've had to push myself to do that effort. It's not going to be there. So, but you will get the answers. You'll get the experience that you need for your, for why you've come in and you've created this desire. So, um, Jai Matara and Jai Ma Matangi.
mm. Yeah, thank you, Pattabhiram, for all these sharing all these experiences to the audience, and all the young sadhaks will be very much helped because of this, um, the knowledge and the experiences also. And I thank everyone for joining this live every Thursday YouTube live with one of the students. And finally, this Sunday there will be temple visit episode, and it'll be towards the Mukambika Devi temple here in Kollur, and it's one of the oldest temples of Adi Shankaracharya, the Advaita Vedanta philosopher and saint, and it will be a very interesting episode. So thanks for watching, and we'll meet in the next video. Jai Mahakal.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, everyone. Bye.